Okay, das letzte Kapitel. Das allerletzte Kapitel. Von The Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Natürlich haben wir noch den zweiten Teil, aber von The Great Ace Attorney Adventures. So this is the article in question, is it? The box von McGilded. The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Windybank's murder. The only item on the shelf that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, quick! Let's open it and see what's inside. Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow, although in truth I had an inkling that might be the case. Okay, it would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Oh, okay. Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that this is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. Oh, okay. So, here we have the means to play the back Mr. McGilded's disc, deposited at Mr. Windybank's at much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the bookmaker was trying to sell these music boxes to Mr. McGilded? I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
Wait, my lord! Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are... well, they are unrelated to the case. In be fair, no need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is police property. Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of the prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent it from happening. Warum? Der hat doch irgendwas zu verheimlichen. Da ist bestimmt irgendwie was drauf, eine Voice Note oder so von ihm so. No further delays, please. Play the disc. Oh, ups. Würde ich den Zettel nicht wegnehmen? My jam? Ja. What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Oh, ist das Morsecode? Hahaha. Mr. Graydon. This is really priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Ah, ist doch ein Kommunikationsmensch, deswegen... Und die Dame macht doch auch immer Morsecode oder was? Okay, also hat er irgendeine Message aufgeschrieben. It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. If the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Nein, stopp, Wionoske, sag Einspruch. Are you ready to move on, counsel? Come on. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music box emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It could be a clue. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, Count. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. So schlimm war es jetzt auch nicht, dass es eine abomination ist, aber okay. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh. Just what relevance do you propose this willful chiming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. I must be. Hehe, making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Curly, you know.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind. Because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. They've got me. I don't know what the answer is. Yet. Bruno? I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound is producing has some significance that isn't musical. Morse code. Ah! Could it be... Is that what these sounds are? Something's just struck me, you know. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. Juror number 5, ne? Yes, it is a familiar sound. The 4, ich weiß es nicht. Actually, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far, it's all the testimony we've heard. It's all pointing to one single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. But welchen proof then? The evidence that explains the true nature of the sound from the music box. This is... safe. Pawnbroker's ticket. Genius implementation. Iris W Manuscript. Blood samples. Pawnbroker's ticket. Gilded case notes. Stand da nochmal drin? Okay. Today's paper. Okay. Autopsy report. Crime scene. crime scene for law plan, Windy Bank's gun, Skalkenberg's gun, photograph of Gina, post shooting photograph, music box this. Hä, was soll ich hier präsenten? Einfach die Disc oder was?
Take that!
Obviously, it's this. Okay, es ist es nicht. Hä? Oder bin ich on a wrong track mit dem Morse Code? Pawnbroker's ticket. Gina's representation papers. Third bullet. Smoke's pouch, stereoscope. Rhinoscena Hodor. Single bullet wound in upper half of victim's back, no other visible signs of trauma. Instant death from a posterior anterior bullet wound to the heart. The bullet entered the body from the back on a gently widening diagonal trajectory. Today's paper contains an article about government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. Ist es das vielleicht, dass Government Secrets über diesen Morsecode weitergegeben worden sind?
Take that!
Today's paper council, als ob es das wirklich ist. The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in pig purse plunder. Hardly supporters of your cause. Ah, no, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Further down. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, it is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted, and are leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input please. Stop. Oh, me sir? Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you work at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports. Oh, yes, we are not your one-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? Tick, 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 tick. You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code? But I don't believe it. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Okay. Order, order! Please everyone, order! But this high treason council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is treason? And what is capital punishment? The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know. For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night, 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGill did perish, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbroker. Okay. For almost any price. And that night 2 months ago, it was a very negotiation that was taking place inside the bus. Okay. My word! In which case, Whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason, punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGildet would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while a pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies. In response to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I am sure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker Mr. Windybank. That being a most flagitious offense, is for which the law of this land sanctions the capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less a serious crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed.
Hold it!
What? You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We got things to say. Oh no. Oh, I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are? Name Snash Skulkin. Occupation is professional belly. Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right, we are what they call the three Skulkin brothers. Hä? Was ist das immer? Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Witness testimony. Graydon's counter. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sound produced by the music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class whipmaker negotiating with McGildet anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gap the other night, like what you told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. One Mr. too, Governor. What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, you did so as a party of three, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here? Oh. We did, Guff. We did. Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. You little water, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight up job. And what about the geezer whose job it was, eh? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Ah! Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence. The small music box has been entered into the court record. The strange music box only appears to be able to play a single tone. It was deposited at Windybank's 2 days before the Black Overcoat. Cross-Examination. Graydon's Counter. Ich möchte mir die Dinge nochmal angucken. Okay. See how the former gilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Windybanks. It couldn't be a more perfect fit. So there's no question then, the disc was designed to be played in this music box. Yet, despite that, the sound it produces are neither musical, nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered it all its secret yet. All its secrets. Können wir hier irgendwie draufdrücken, irgendwas? Was ist das? Oh! What is it, Bruno? I've just noticed something about this music box. Is this a knob? It looks like the bottom of it opens as well. Ah! You're right! Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it. Alright then, here goes. Look at that. There's another movement on the underside. So, does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side? Yes, I think so. And it looks like the two movements are linked together. They are linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time. Okay. Who would have thought there would be a second movement on the underside of the box? And this movement is like the other one. The comp's teeth are all the same length. So this movement is also only produces a single tone, like the other one. Yes, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth on the two comps isn't the same. So the single tone produced by its movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard. What? Basically, each movement can only produce a single note, but the notes they produce are different. A music box can only play two tones. Okay. Oh, oops, I can find anything out of place. Okay. Gwain's counter. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information.
Hold it!
So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted. How could they possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive defense information. Oh no, stop! Must say something, stop! Let me guess. Juror number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraph used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idols. Stop. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent and ciphered. Normal employees wouldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Coming in front of us. Eh? But your idol would appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Besides, the sounds produced by the music box aren't even Morse code.
Hold it!
They are not. To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to the music box for even a second. Of course, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. Ha ha ha. It would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. A lesson? Here in court? Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct tones. Tones, you say? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. I see. For example, this is A. And this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same and everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. Es muss noch eine zweite Disc geben, ne? Weil wir da auch auf der Rückseite was gefunden haben. Auf der Unterseite. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Und die andere Platte dann hat einen anderen Ton. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future. Stop. Nothing to say, but stop. The future gesagt? Ja, in future, okay. Ich dachte in the future. Aber in future kann man scheinbar auch sagen. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? I mean, if the government secret was somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely. Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play Morse code? Give it a try. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument and ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, two tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then, what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? Here. Oh, what is it, Bruno? I've just noticed something. Oh, okay. Blah 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 blah. You're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it. Here it goes. Look at that. Another movement on the other side. So does it mean you can set another disc to play on this back side? Yes, I think so. And it looks like two movements are linked together. They are linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time. Okay.
Got it!
Good gracious! What am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box. What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box. And the sound of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. Oops. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGill 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, you know. You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man.
Hold it!
So 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people here remember little about him. Artisan? Muss ich mal kurz nachgucken. Künstler? Nee, glaube ich nicht. Glaub ich weniger. Artisan. Handwerker, okay. That doesn't make much sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all of this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason, in order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it infamy, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. Haben wir denn Evidence dafür? Ich weiß es nicht. If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Haben wir was die linkt? It doesn't seem that way, würde ich sagen. But doch, die Disc, aber... Nee, ich glaube, es macht keinen Sinn hier. Look, all we done is break into the gap the other night, all, like what he told us to do.
Hold it!
Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? That's it! Yeah, who else, eh? Silly me thought he was just popping over for a netta after all them years, but the water had a dodgy job for us. And Ash? Let me stop you there, Mr. Stalken. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We are the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old China. Excuse me? Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. What? Who? Me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a wide-out laugh together way back when. Together? With Mr. Graydon, you mean? Yeah, with Ash. I mean, yeah, look at him now, in his fancy whistle and flute, and you wouldn't Adam and Eve it. But when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us. Is that so? But he was always the leery one. He had the brains, he had the saving. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads. God blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milward and Skulkin's milk one? That was a corker, eh? Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your food. Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn your attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Added to the testimony, yeah. My lord. Yes, Counselor. The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information linked to this case. Was haben die denn gesagt? We ain't done nothing wrong. Gott, bleiben mir endlich zu. Wir wollen mal Milverton und Skalkens Milk One. Milverton. So hieß doch der Brickmaker, oder nicht? Yeah, with Edge. I mean, I look at him now. It's time to whistle and flute, and you wouldn't add him any of it. But when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us. But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy, always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have come to our heads. Got blindly aimed at the truth. Remember Milverton and Skalkens Milk One. That was a corker, Save it until after the trial. When you think has no patience for him, he had the food. Or Jesus asked the question, didn't he? And he was answering. Okay. Milverton, so these are his offer. Very well, Counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with a detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Say no more, the Skalkens never Skalken. Milverton and Skalkens Milk One. Gore them were the days. Okay. Präsenten einfach mal. Weil hier im Buch steht doch Mason Milverton. Hier.
Objection!
Okay. Scheinbar nicht. Scheinbar müssen wir pressen. Okay. Milverton and Skalkens Milk One. God, them were the days.
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we are here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what? The business name. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourself and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton und Skalkens Milk One, was it? Ist der Brickmaker vielleicht der Dad oder so? Oder der Bruder? Ich glaube der Bruder eher nicht, weil der älter aussah, aber... That's it. And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh, right. I thought a clever clocks like you have worked that one out. Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel?
Objection!
Let me guess, you don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because well... It weren't the happiest of homes that one came from. Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him. She took the name, Graydon then, see? But Ash will always be Milverton to us. Oh, also ist das der Dad, okay. Milverton. So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not, this is all bunker. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves? You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Ah! Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mr. Skalken's testimony has been reliable. For once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well, yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. Ashley Graydon's personality profile has been updated. Personal profile has been updated in the court record. A telegraph operator at the Central Communication Station, whose last name was once Milverton years ago. He's a childhood friend of the Skalken brothers.